It's Josiah back again with another video. If you don't know who I am, I scaled my agency from 0 to 50K in under 90 days. And I wanted to make this video going over the three biggest things I learned while doing that. And in hopes that you can take this stuff, implement it, and get crazy results, scale up to 10, 20, 30K, and yeah, scale your agency, right? So let's get straight into it. The first thing I learned was the appointment side of the agency. Okay. And if you don't know what niche I was working with marketing agency owners, and I was helping them scale their revenue using cold email, LinkedIn, etc. And the biggest factor that I would actually contribute to the success that I had while doing this was being in a niche that promoted scale, that had basically life of scale, right? I see all these agency owners, they come to me, they're like, I can't scale in my niche. I can't get enough appointments. And I'm like, what niche are you targeting? Oh, like a niche that has 1,000, 5,000 companies, if that, right? And I'm like, of course you can't scale in that niche. There's not enough businesses in that niche that you can get a hold of, right? That's one of the biggest things. That even though there's maybe a lot of businesses in that niche, right? It it only you can only scale when you actually have their contact details, something for you to directly message them and pitch your offer and pitch what you're doing to them. If you don't have that, it's very hard for you to scale organically. So I always recommend, if you're looking to scale organically, you want to actually have a place that you can find their contact details, maybe a Facebook group chat, maybe a email hub, wherever you can actually find a contact detail for you to outreach them, right? The next thing as well that helped me kind of scale the appointments, add more appointments to the calendar, essentially just book a lot more meetings, was reviewing case study videos, right? And case study interviews. This could be for yourself if you have already some case study interviews, reviewing them, or essentially making them and taking them with your client, or your competitors, right? Because what you're going to find is, if I was, of course, looking to get to a new niche that had no idea and had no niche about that niche, that wasn't even supposed to rhyme, no niche about that niche, right? I would go to the biggest competitor in that niche, look at all of their case study videos, and look at like what their clients were doing, what they hated doing before, what was their current situation before joining them, and what's the after, like the desired situation, like the after state of working with that competitor. And I will craft the most no-brainer offer from just listening to that, right? And I'll listen to that again and again and again, helping me find marketing angles, helping me like structure the words, make sure I'm speaking their language, because you're basically leveraging other people's work to help you get like a foot in. So if your competitors done all that work to find an offer, right, and they're like at this level, you just come and listen to their case study, you're going to be at this level already. And then once you like test and like you add your creative flair to it, you'll be on this level as well. So it's a very quick way to get into a niche by just essentially like looking at what your competitors done and their case studies, right? And another thing as well, at this stage, I did fall into a trap of like over optimizing, right? So if you're running a campaign, you're starting to get good results, you're like, oh, I can get better results if I just test this, test that. And what you soon realize is that like once you find something that's working, like 9 times out of 10, yes, you can optimize it, but rarely would you ever be the thing that's really working well. Like rarely. Like I've already seen in some cases where you really beat the winning ad, the winning script, and and at that point it's just better to just scale it and just add more emails, add more setters, increase the ad spend rather than over optimizing it, right? Because that's going to waste so much time and so much effort because you're researching, testing this, using all of this brain power when you can just scale what's already working. And just to give you an insight on how this looks like, I remember, I think it was 2022, no, 2023, February to July. We were booking around 50 to 100 appointments just using cold email, and we didn't change the script for 6 months, right? Because we didn't have to. It's rarely a case, especially if you're doing one interactions, it's rarely the case that your script will fatigue. Like you got really, really long, like long runway. Perhaps with ads, it may be different because competitors can see that, everyone can see it, etc. Right? But for one-to-one interaction, you can use the same script again and again for 6 months. Right? So you only need to find it once. The next thing is a risk-free offer. Because we were starting from the ground up, we didn't have any like big case studies to leverage. So we had to rely on guarantees and making the transaction as much risk free as possible. The reason why is because, like I said, we didn't have any credibility in the marketplace. And as you start getting credibility, that's when you can, of course, add, like, de-risk the offer a bit and just remove some guarantees or lower the guarantee, etc. Okay. And the other thing as well is charge what it's worth, right? Now, because we had a type of experience, we did start off with just a pay-per appointment. It started from like $100 appointment to $200 appointment to $300 appointment, with, of course, a setup fee ranging from anything from like 1,000 to 5,000, right? But once we started realizing that how much value we could provide to their business, like in terms of creating sales assets, helping them with sales, helping them with marketing, helping them with operations, we then realized, like, hey, like, why are we charging so little for this? And then we raised our price up to around $4,000 to $5,000, right? And that was on a monthly basis. And then we only wanted to work with people who could afford that. So we looked at everyone going in the market and we're like, hey, everyone's targeting agency owners doing 10K to 30K. Let's target agency owners that are doing 50 to 100K a month, right? And really build something unique for them. And this allowed us to position ourselves and partner with bigger agencies, charge more, and we were doing the exact same thing as all the other people doing. Like, we were using the like offers, we're using, yes, the methods. We're just better at them, I would say, or like more focused with them. But we're essentially doing the same service, right? But the positioning was different. And this allows us to charge higher, get bigger deals, increase profitability, and we're running this around 70 to 80% profit margins. Okay, just to give you an idea, right? And having all of them factors in appointments allowed us to just crank up the volume, right? Crazy, crazy crank up. The next thing is sales. Now, sales was a very interesting one, I would say. But the main thing that I learned while scaling the agency from 0 to 50K is how much repetition matters in sales, right? You can read like 100 sales books and you'll think you know a lot about sales, but if you take 100 sales calls, you will be a master at sales, right? Because you've just gone through that, you just built that muscle, built that muscle, built that muscle, right? And as you're building that muscle, what you want to do is review your sales calls. Guys, as I'm saying now, review your bloody sales calls. Don't be a bitch. Don't say, oh, I can't review it because I don't like the sound of my voice. Come on, mate. Don't be that guy or that girl, whatever you want to call yourself. Don't be that person, right? Review your sales call. It's like, basically, it's like boxers, right? After they fight, they go back to the boxing room and review the fight every single round. Even if they won, even if they won the fight, they review it to see what could I improve on, what went well, what did not go well, and then what can we take onto the camp next time, right? And that's how you want to treat your sales calls. You want to review it. You want to make sure that you note down any things, like if you didn't say the pitch that well or you're stuttering the pitch. Next thing could be like every single day I'm going to read the pitch out, right? I'm going to be reading the questions out. I'm going to be actually painting more of a picture of their desire. I'm going to be talking more about the current situation, causing more pain, right? That's what you want to be doing every single week with your sales calls, okay? Because that gives you the best feedback loop to improve your sales calls dramatically. Next thing as well is using objection Anki method. Now, this is covered in the program. If you don't know, we have a program that we basically help you and teach you all of this stuff. Links below, but whatever, right? And using an objection Anki method. Now, what this is, now, if you don't know what Anki is, it's basically like a digital flashcard. So remember in school when you're like learning for chemistry and you have to know like, what is the periodic table? And you couldn't remember it because no one has the flipping image in their head. So you used to use the flashcard and then used to like say it, used to answer it with your head and then flip the flashcard around and then boom, the answer's there. Like the question is at the front, answers at the back, right? We use the same methodology for objections. Now, hear me out. It sounds weird, but it flipping works. The reason why is just because of your memory, right? The more you're like accustomed to something, the more you like are aware of something, the more you're gonna remember it. And we listen to, of course, all this Alex Moses, Charlie Morgan's sales stuff, and what we found is that sales is basically like where everyone fucks up in sales is the objection. It's when they say I need to think about it, you talk to my partner, all of that stuff. So what we actually decided to do is focus 80% of our time on objection and closing the deal, right? Because asking people questions and discovery call is easy, man. Just read off the bloody script, just shut up and let them talk. That's it. Like if you can do that, you can just have a normal conversation. But when it comes to closing and like objection handling, that's when all of the like majority of the salespeople F up, right? And we wanted to focus and build that muscle as much as possible. So we used to do these Anki method every single day. We used to go through the objection, this objection, what am I going to say? This objection, this one, I'm going to say X, Y, Z until it became literally like ingrained in our brain, right? So if you're struggling with objection, I suggest you download Anki, put that the top 5 objections that you're getting, and then just rehearse that every single day. All right. And the last thing in terms of sales is negotiation, right? Now, I see a lot of people that like, if the client doesn't pay me this full retainer, we're not taking them on. They're a bad client, right? But sometimes you want to make them feel as though they're getting the bargain. They're getting a good price for your service. And how we done that was basically using something called an incentive-based pricing, where we started saying this is the price, right? But if you're able to make a decision today, we'll lower the price by like 50, 40%, right? And I've seen other ways of doing this, like say, instead of charging it as a retainer, you charge it as a one-time fee. So like it's 20K. And they're like, yo, 20K. But it's like, if you're able to make it today, we can put it into a payment plan. So it's basically going to be like 2.5K a month. And the original service was 2.5K a month, right? But this allowed us to get like basically a negotiation happening, right? It wasn't like my way or no way. It was like, how can we make this work? And what we found is that when we came from that mindset of how can we make this work instead of my way or no way, we started closing more people, right? Because we essentially wanted to get as many agencies into our service to get the best delivery as possible. Okay. And negotiating can, of course, essentially be like, what price would you be okay with? Okay, instead of saying 5K, we want like 3.5. It's like, we don't usually do 3.5, but if you do like 3.9, but you promise to give us a testimonial, we can do that. And they're like, okay, makes sense. At least I'm not getting that 5K, I'm getting 3.9. Okay, cool, deal, boom. Even though you wanted to do 3.9 in the first place. So that's what we've basically learned about sales. The next thing was delivery. Now, this is one of the biggest bottlenecks I see agencies get, especially like 0 to 10K a month is mainly just if you know how to book appointments and talk to people and just keep doing it again and again. But once you get to like the 20, 30, 40K a month, 50K a month, it really comes down to like delivering because you want to keep the clients on. Right? You don't want to just have a pump and dump where you have like a very good month and then the next 3 months you're just hell, right? Now, the biggest thing that's helped us with delivery, and these are going to be some foundational tactics, is defining your delivery process. And you're not going to basically know how to define it after like the first 3 or 4 clients. So don't try this first, but just try to get like a basically a high level overview of like what you're actually going to do for the client, right? And the reason why you want to define this is because you can actually hire to delegate instead of hire to solve, right? You see a lot of people that they get clients they don't know how to solve, right? And they hire someone who they think can deliver all the fulfillment for their client. And the people that hire or they do like a white label agency don't actually like live up to their promises, and you start losing clients. That's why you want to actually know how to deliver yourself, and then hire people to just copy what you're doing. Okay, and the best way to do that is to define it. So it's like get a Miro board like this, and define every single step that you're going to be taking with a client to get them results. Okay. And then you want to educate your clients on the onboarding, right? This is with an onboarding follow or onboarding training. This is so crucial. I wish someone went to old Jozy and slapped him at the back of the head and say, hey, give your clients some educational videos to learn about the service, because your clients have never probably done what you're trying to do, or if they've done in the past and got burned. So their expectations could be all over the place, right? They could be like, I don't know how this works, I don't know how that works. Send them over just a few videos, make them 3 to 5 minutes, and just cover the few points, like how to communicate when we're open, how to like communicate with us if you have a no-show, etc., like that. Because you want to front load this as much as possible, because then when it comes to the fulfillment side, they're going to be asking you less questions, right? You want to upfront all the information as possible. The next thing, this is one of the most important, and I think this only happened when we're really trying to get to like after like 5, 10, 20 clients that we're just managing. It was selling plans instead of selling the service, right? Clients wants to know what's the plan, right? They're trusting you to take care of their marketing, and they want to know what you're going to be doing for them in 3 to 6 months, right? And if you're just saying we're going to be running Facebook ads, we're going to be doing Google ads, they're going to be like, mate, I did not sign for Facebook because I want clients, I want patients, I want more deals, etc. Like, how can we get that? So your shift needs to be focused on how can we add revenue to the business in 3 months, and painting the plan, right? Because it's going to be the plan that you're going to be selling them. The 90-day sprint. This is a 90-day sprint. This is a 3-month sprint. This is a 6-month sprint, etc. This is going to be how we're going to be getting you to that goal, right? And that just puts the client at ease that like they're thinking that you're visionary. You're thinking 3 steps ahead. You're not just like all the other agencies that's just trying to say, let's just make it through this month, right? And when we went to that phase, and how that basically looks like is basically just like, again, it's a Miro board. If you don't want like, if you want to get better delivery, I suggest getting Miro or like Border Mix, because it's going to help you like think and basically have clarity on what you're going to do for the client, and selling that as a plan. Like, this is month one, this is month two, this is month three. And in month three, we're going to be seeing this type of results. In this month two, we're going to be seeing this type of results. And that was one of the biggest shifts that I'll say helped us, right? And like I said, the next one is to hire to delegate, not solve. So the belief that's going to keep, like the belief that had to kind of like shift in my head was, I can do it myself or better than anyone else, right? You need to kind of change that. Like, anyone can do what you're doing, right? You're not flipping Superman. You're not flipping like born from flipping heaven or something, right? Anyone can do what you're doing if they just have the will, the grit, and essentially the determination to learn. They'll be able to even do it like for you or do it better than you, because all their attention is just at that task. So that's the belief that you kind of have to break in that 20 to 30K a month, right? Another thing as well is centralizing your information. Oh my God. Notion, Notion, Notion. I'm just gonna say Notion, Notion, Notion. We was in ClickUp, right? And ClickUp was just not it. It just didn't tick the boxes, right? When we moved to Notion, and we had basically a centralized location with all the scripts, all the targeting, all the client's information, all the business information, it was like, whoa, I can step back. Someone can just go to a base and learn everything they need to know about my business, right? And that's when you have to do, like, at that stage of like 20, 30K a month, is like really, really just put things in one place. So when you start hiring, like, you're not like fabbing out, you're not jumping on one-on-one calls with every single team member and just like blabbing at them and them forgetting, right? And one of the biggest hires that we've done, right, at this stage was an ops assistant, right? Very technical, knows a lot about the business, a business generalist. So he can set up clients, he understands how to speak to clients, like basically knows everything. You just give him hats, just give him everything, right? But it's very technical. That's the biggest thing. He helps the team out with tech stuff and replies to clients as well with any tech stuff. Then a client success manager, or like a marketing manager, we call it, and they run campaigns, research, and does reporting. Right, that's the main thing. Run campaigns, research, and does reporting. And then inbox managers. This could be, of course, this was more relevant to us. For your agency, it could be something else. That's just responding to replies and book meetings, right? And these three hires allowed us to step out the main day to day, right? Because the clients will speak to the client success manager or marketing manager, we call him, or the ops assistant. And the ops assistant and the client success manager would have all the answers, right? Because, like I said, everything was centralized in one place. And they'll have more kind of like, there'll be more nuance because they're actually working on that account, rather than us that we were just basically just outside of the accounts. We didn't really know what's going on. And without just a quick summary of like everything, is like appointment, sales, and delivery is the main thing that you need to crack to hit around 50K a month. So these are all the lessons I learned. Hopefully they serve you well and help you get there faster. And yeah, if you want to learn more on like the ins and outs and how we can actually help you get there even faster, like I said, we got details below on our flagship program and how I can help you get there. Down below, if you want to look at it, feel free. If not, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.